not qualified by expressions which may justify restrictions to its realization. The provision of learner transport in South Africa continues to be a challenge, especially in rural areas, a predicament that is compounded by the education sector's compulsion to accommodate the increasing numbers of learners. The 2016 Stats SA General Household Survey, page 14, reported that more than 2/3, which is 69.8% of learners, still walked to school, and that 83% of those learners needed an average of 30 minutes to get to school, while some learners lived experience that dictates that the journey to school can take up to 3 hours. Many such learners often do not have money for public transport, and those who brave the walk for school run the risk of losing out on the crucial teaching and learning processes due to underlying socio-economic conditions, fatigue induced by walking long distances, as well as general tardiness as a result of routes traveled on foot. Further noting that more than 37,000 Eastern Cape learners were reported to have been left without much needed transport to school in the early 2021 due to Transport Department budget cuts, while highlighting that the Department of Transport plans on transporting 103,000 learners from April 2021 as against a target of 87,000 learners for the 2020-21 financial year. The statistics reveal that the number of learners in need of scholar transport in the Eastern Cape stands at 140,884. Lack of reliable transport can be considered to be one of the factors contributing to the province's learner dropout rate. As a result, learners have no alternative means to get to schools, despite their desire for an education. The rationalization process of primary and high schools will further magnify the scholar transport needs. One of the key enabling factors of the provincial scholar transport policy is the availability of access roads on which to transport learners. Therefore, resolve that the House, as a matter of agency, discuss and resolve on the following. 1, the provision of scholar transport to all qualifying and deserving learners in the manner that allows their safe attendance to schools, especially given the perilous environment. 2, provision of scholar transport to deserving learners in all realigned and rationalized schools within the province. 3, the role of the Department of Transport in maintenance of the access roads leading to our schools in the rural parts of our province. I so move, Honorable Speaker. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Fishlani. The motion is noted and it will then be debated at a later stage in accordance with Rule 133(1). Honorable Sondaba, you are up.
Honorable Speaker, all protocol observed. Honorable Speaker, I move without notice in terms of Rule 130 of the Standing Orders of this esteemed House, that the House note that the stock theft in the Eastern Cape is reaching totally unacceptable rampant proportions. To acknowledge is that this notice represents sentiments and aspirations of majority of farmers in the province across color line, advanced commercial, and as well as small-holding farmers. To note that in many rural regions, especially where financial markets are absent or non-existent, livestock or herds are a source of asset accumulation and a measure of prosperity. For recognize that livestock assets can be mobilized at any time, satisfying planned expenditures such as children's school needs, right wealth, and generally unplanned family overtures, such as illness and death of family members. 5, appreciate that this livestock could be seen as a bank account, and it is also an important source of savings that could be tapped into on any hour of need. This would always carry the hopes of these would-be investors, even during the times of despair. Remember that the stock theft pervading following areas, but not limited to Nkanduli, Elliot Day, Biki, Ikowa Ida, Elliot, Engobo, Olo, Kumbu, that pop in Fletcher and Matatiel is a serious cause for concern. It's further note that Obubunyangaza is rife in these areas. This wicked act is carried out disdainfully and violently. 8. Affirm that this is a serious threat to rural development, peace and stability as is envisaged in the Freedom Charter. Recognize that according to MEC Tikane Gotiwe, MEC for Transport, Safety and Liaison, I quote, stock theft is a cancer eating away at the foundation on which our economy is anchored. It is taking away the most basic short-term and long-term investment and certainly the most valued assets from subsistence farmers in rural communities, I close quote. Recognize that when these brutal acts were noticed that they were getting out of hand, this was brought to the attention of the provincial government. Recognize that the Premier and the MEC had been to these hotspots areas more than once, and below are some of the notable progress which have been realized. 1, convictions were made on some young men who were terrorizing those communities. 2, livestock units were enforced by provincial national stock units from the 1st of January 2021 to the end of February 2021. New stock unit was established in Sulengama, Kumbu, and mobile station in Katkop is in place. These operations managed to find calm on some of hotspots, but despite these efforts, these acts of stock theft remain stubborn. The efforts are still increasingly at play as we speak. I must emphasize that stock theft has a negative impact of 268 million worth of accounted financial losses, an estimated 400 deaths as a result of livestock theft. Therefore, we call this House to resolve as follows. A stock theft summit be convened as a matter of urgency, stock theft intelligence capacity be enhanced, modern technology be employed in this fight. There must be a new lease of life and energy within this unit. Your experience is required, but some of the old guard are being fingered. Framework for stock theft and institutionalization of stock theft forums. There must be campaigns against this. The cross-border operations must be up and running. Theft must be closed on black livestock markets. We call on that all hands must be on deck. Ugosipula lomkhuba ningambo. I so move. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Sondaba. Honorable members, I put the motion without notice. All those in favor?
Agree.
Agree.
Agreed.
Any dissenting? None. Thank you. Thank you, honorable members. Honorable members, we will now go to the member statement. Up first is Honorable Woodendaal. Please remember, honorable members, you have 3 minutes, and the Premier or the relevant MEC will then have 5 minutes to respond to each statement. Honorable Woodendaal, and then followed by Honorable Fishlani. Thank you.
Speaker,
the prolonged Eastern Cape drought has worsened its grip on the province, with seemingly no contingency plans in place by the provincial administration to support water-scarce municipalities. Combined dam levels for Nelson Mandela Bay dipped below 15% yesterday, the lowest in recorded levels. The Kouga Dam, Nelson Mandela Bay's biggest storage dam, is currently at an all-time low of 5.7% of total capacity. Buffalo City has had punitive stage 3 water restrictions in place since November 2019. Other municipalities elsewhere in the province, such as Dr. Beyers, Nodia, Nglambe, Kouga, and Numa, have also experienced severe water shortages over the last couple of years. Speaker, the Democratic Alliance has repeatedly called on Premier Oscar Mboyane to declare the Eastern Cape a drought disaster area so that the province can stand in line for some much needed disaster funding from national government. In his SOPA address, the Honourable Premier mentioned all the bulk water projects in the pipeline for the east of the province, but neglected to say a word about any plans to deal with the effects of a 6-year-long drought in the west of the province. Madam Speaker, we have a humanitarian crisis on our hands, and this government has failed to put any plans in place to deal with this unfolding crisis. No contingency measures are in place should some of our bulk storage dams run dry. Why is the Premier ignoring this crisis? Why does he refuse to declare a drought disaster area? Why is there no contingency plans in place? What has this government done to secure additional funding for water-scarce municipalities from national government? Madam Speaker, it is a disgrace that the National Department of Water Affairs, who recently donated 20 water trucks to water-scarce municipalities, seem to care more about municipalities and our residents than our own provincial government. Water Affairs handed over those water trucks as a contingency measure for when municipalities run out of water. The Democratic Alliance now call upon the Honourable Premier to disclose his contingency plans, if any, to assist water-scarce municipalities with this drought crisis. We furthermore, yet again, call upon the Premier to declare the Eastern Cape a drought disaster area. I thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, Honourable Odendaal. Honourable Fishlani.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. The ANC wishes to express hearty congratulations to Senqu local municipality for receiving yet another clean audit. Despite the municipality being small, rural and struggling to attract and retain various urban towns niceties, it continues to lead the pack in terms of good and clean governance in the Eastern Cape. This municipality has demonstrated the capability, the developmental and functioning local state is possible, and public trust is earned when public finances are properly accounted for. When such does not happen, many citizens are vulnerable, and more often than not, such has resulted in the flaring up of service delivery protests as residents take to the streets demanding improved services. We implore the province's local government sector to adopt best practices from this exemplary municipality and make the necessary changes to inculcate all municipalities to make the achievement of clean audits their organizational objective. We laud the rigorous oversight function that has been performed by municipal councils over the years, the adherence to proper financial management principles and effective internal controls, as well as compliance with applicable laws and regulations. We are of the firm view that the attainment Honourable Speaker?
Yes, I was just going to ask those members that is on the MS Teams that is our guest, can they please mute? It is unfortunate that you are ignoring our instruction to please mute. You may continue, Honourable Fishlani.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. IT can take them out. We are of the firm view that the attainment of its 7th consecutive clean audit opinion affirms that maxim that political leadership working together with administration can do much more. It further serves as confirmation that placement of officials with requisite qualifications, skills, experience, and motivation, even those stars which are considered to be the smallest, can shine brightest. We implore Senqu municipality to continue on this positive trajectory whilst remaining a beacon to all other institutions in the local government sector. We implore the Department of Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs to continue supporting the province municipalities towards implementing turnaround strategies to improve their audit outcomes. Thank you, Honorable.
Thank you, Honorable Fishlani. We will now accord the Premier and the members of the Executive. You have 10 minutes, Honorable Premier or members of the Executive, to respond to both statements. Over to you, Honorable Premier.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Good morning to you and good morning to Honorable members. Thank you very much for the opportunity. I will ask MEC Ngata to comment on both statements that have been made, but it is incorrect what Honorable Odendal says, that there is no support that the provincial administration is doing to the challenges of drought that we are having in the province. But MEC will be able to give some brief comments. We can even have a proper report at a later stage. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. MEC Ngata?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Greetings to you. Greetings to Honorable Premier and the MECs, Honorable members, the officials, and the citizens that are watching from various, platforms. Thanks to the opportunity, Honorable Premier, to respond to the question. Honorable Odendal is not speaking the reality as we are facing as a province, rather than to use the issue of climate change and the impact of drought as an issue for political point scoring. The reality is that our country is a water scarce country, and that the issue of climate change is a reality that is facing our country and facing our province. As a result of wanting to ensure that we respond to the issues of drought, the provincial cabinet declared as way back as in October 2019 a disaster, which led to us releasing resources to working together with the Department of Water and Sanitation, working together with Sanlam, and working together with the various stakeholders, which we distributed not less than 5,000 water tanks throughout the province. And also we've bought, only as COCTA, about 5 trucks to support the issues of water cutting. And last week we had a meeting of Munimec, where the Department of Water presented a report in terms of what is the situation, the dam levels in the province, and what are the projected rainfalls, going forward. And the situation in our dams now, our dams have recovered, and in a way that will make it possible that there is relief, and there are other projected rains going forward to increase the dam levels. And I would say that the honourable member is not really appreciating the kind of efforts that we're making as a provincial government. We are not folding our arms as he claims, and this is experienced by communities on the ground. But it's important to deal with these issues in its proper context, that climate change is a reality, and it's an issue that we are confronted with. If the dam becomes dry, you know, we can only do water cuttings. We have drilled boreholes throughout the province. As the Honorable Premier has said, we can do a write-up and submit the report to the Honorable Member. But I'm sure the Honorable Member has this information because it has been shared before. But the member decides to use this serious matter of concern for political point scoring. That would be my preliminary response, Honorable Premier. Thank you.
Honorable Premier, the statement from Honorable Fihlani.
Okay. Let me take this one as well, as Honorable Premier has.
Yes,
yeah.
anything matter. I said you can comment on both of them.
Yeah, thanks, Honorable Premier and Honorable Speaker. Honorable Fihlani, indeed, we are quite encouraged by the audit outcomes of Senqu municipality, which underlines that rurality cannot be a reason or an excuse for poor performance, and in terms of financial performance and other areas. And Senqu has consistently, proven this to be a reality. And indeed, we have convened a meeting, a special meeting with all municipalities whose focus was on sharing information and for Senqu to share best practices with other municipalities. One of the things that they were underlining was an issue of building systems in an institution so that the institution is not dependent on individuals, so that you put financial systems and such that your approach in the work is institutionalized, then that guarantees continuity. And the other thing is that there is no high turnover of officials. 2 years you have got this CFO, in another 2 years another one. Same with the municipal manager. The CFO and the municipal manager have been there and other officials for a number of years now, which says that where there is performance, you don't need to change what is working. You don't need to destroy what is working. And in some instances in the province, you have had a situation where good performing officials will be changed and not given other contracts, based on other reasons that have got nothing to do with performance. And therefore, continuity and change is quite very critical in as far as that is concerned. We're taking that forward in terms of, that's where the meeting we had with the municipalities, we made mayors to sign pledges committing themselves to ensure the implementation of audit plans, so that we eliminate repetitive findings that we find in many municipalities, and we ensure that there is a seriousness in implementing the recommendations of the Internal Audit Committee, the recommendations of MPEG. And that's what Senqu has been excelling in doing, to respect these and strengthen these internal accountability mechanisms to ensure that there are check and balances and there is commitment to good financial management practices. Thank you. Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I'm done.
Finish, Honorable Nata. You start. Yes, thank you so much. Can you hear me? Honorable Nata, can you hear me?
I hear you now, Honorable Speaker.
Yes, I'm saying no. If you are done, That is fine because you still had 1 minute to go, but that is fine. You are saving us 1 minute. I will now ask, thank you so much. We will now proceed with the business for the day. I will therefore ask the secretary to please read the first order of the day.
Tabling of vote number 3 held.
Before I call the MEC, I wish to advise members of the executive that the WIPS committee has allocated 20 minutes to each member of the executive to present the policy speeches. I will now call upon the member of the Executive Council responsible for the Department of Health, Honorable MEC Met, to present her 2021-2022. Over to you.
Honorable Speaker, Honorable Deputy Speaker, Honorable Premier, Honorable Members of the Executive Council, Honorable Members of Eastern Cape Legislature, the Chairperson and the members of the Portfolio Committee on Health, our kings and traditional leaders, Director General and heads of the departments and entities, distinguished guests, zihlobo zam, molweni mawethu. Madam Speaker, I present the Department of Health's policy speech in this august house at a time when we are still toiling under the scourge of the coronavirus pandemic, which has invaded the global community, including our beloved province of the Legions. The coronavirus pandemic has shaken the foundations of the world's governments, disrupted social lives, and put economies and societies to a standstill. The pandemic has caused calamities that have induced distress and suffering to humankind. Our strength and resilience as the people has been tested to the limit. Our collective commitment to change the people's lives was realized through a coordinated government, business, and society's response to the pandemic. Madam Speaker, the province recorded its first case of the coronavirus on the 21st of March 2020 at Xhoga Magisterial area in Namatole district. Almost a year later, the disease has infected more than 194,886 people in the province. As of the 21st of 2021, thankfully 183,308 of those cases have recovered, translating to a 94.1% recovery rate. Sadly, 11,340 of our people succumbed to this deadly virus, which translates to a case fatality rate of 5.8%. The majority of those who have demised are males. Madam Speaker, case management and health systems capacity was central to the managing of this impact of coronavirus. We are proud of the investment that the department, with the support of other government departments, private sector and NGOs, made to ready our facilities to manage the impact of the pandemic. We are proud to record that at the end of February 2021, we have provided 2,029 COVID-19 beds. These were made available from infrastructure upgrades of 73 facilities undertaken by the department through the Department of Public Works, which is costing 401 million. Notwithstanding the difficulties posed by the deadly coronavirus disease, our collective efforts had assisted us traverse the turbulent waters. It is for this reason that we deliver this policy speech under the theme, the year to strengthen collaborations and partnerships in the era of COVID-19 to protect, promote, and improve health in honor of Mama Charlotte Maxeke. Through partnerships and generous donations from partners and the private sector, the department was able to mitigate the challenges of availability of PPEs due to the global demand for commodities. Honorable members, the coronavirus pandemic did have devastating effects on our healthcare workforce. As at the 21st of March 2021, a total of 302 healthcare workers lost their lives in the line of duty. At this point, I want to pay tribute to these fallen heroes and heroines and salute them for their resilience and commitment in the fight against COVID-19. Their efforts and patriotism will always be inscribed in the annals of history. The psychosocial support system was institutionalized through strengthening employee wellness in order to ensure that staff were counseled to process their grief from losing colleagues and loved ones due to the impact of this pandemic. The rollout of the J&J vaccine under the Sonke Early Access Program has been the start of the vaccination program in the country. The vaccination program, which started at two research sites in the province, namely Livingstone and Nelson Mandela hospitals, academic hospitals, have been expanded to Doranginza, Frere Hospital, Life St. Dominic's, Mthatha Regional, Netcare Green Acres hospitals, and is providing an opportunity for our health workers who are at the cold face of fighting the pandemic to have early access to the vaccine. As at 19th March 2021, we have had 16,808 of our healthcare workers vaccinated with no reported adverse reaction. We therefore would like to assure our people that the vaccine is safe to be administered. For the year 2021-2022 financial year, we'll be moving to vaccinate the targeted population for the Eastern Cape in order to achieve population/herd immunity through vaccinating between 3,874,000 and 4,497 persons over the age of 18 years in the province. This will be done in the 3 phases, wherein the first phase we are targeting the patient-facing healthcare workers, in the second phase essential workers and over 18 years with comorbidities, and lastly all other persons over the age of 18 years. Partnership with the private sector and local universities will ensure effective cold chain to access ultra-cold temperature freezers to allow access to different vaccines in the market. On progress made on NHI, as at the end of the third quarter 2020-21, we had 339 ward-based outreach teams that are servicing 715 municipal wards at an average of 2 wards per team. In the 2021-22 financial year, we will ensure that more facilities attain and sustain their ideal clinics status, especially given that ideal clinics and ideal hospitals are a prerequisite for registration as service providers under the NHI. We are therefore targeting 80 additional clinics to achieve ideal clinic status in 2021-2022. 26 district hospitals will be targeted. Honorable Speaker, in the 2020-2021 year, specialist doctors in the Nelson Mandela Central Hospital performed successful 8 cochlear implantations of patients. This is the procedure conducted in highly technical and specialized environment to improve the quality of life of patients with severe hearing disability. In the next financial year, the department will conduct cochlear implantations to 6 patients at Nelson Mandela Frere Hospital, Livingstone, at a cost of 1.5 million. Madam Speaker, the cancers are some of the dreadful diseases that slowly and painfully kill humankind. In response to this reality, we have refurbished the old Sir Henry Elliot Hospital to create wards that will cater for oncology and urology services in the eastern part of the Eastern Cape. In the next financial year, we are committing 10 million for building of the bunkers and related goods and services at Nelson Mandela Academic Hospital. This intervention will prevent patients from the eastern part of the province spending days traveling to the East London to get advanced oncology services. Chemotherapy services, which were planned to be decentralized in 2020-2021, remain centralized at Nelson Mandela Academic Hospital due to the impact of COVID-19. A memorandum of understanding is in place with the private sector to mix drugs and deliver them to St. Elizabeth, Oliver and Adelaide Tambo Memorial and Matsikane Zulu hospitals in order to reactivate this program in the next financial year. In the new financial year, the penal rehabilitation services will be housed at the refurbished urology ward, which is currently being used as a COVID-19 unit at Sir Henry Elliot Hospital. This program provides much needed specialist services to the victims of post-circumcision and helps to bring dignity to the affected young men. In a bid to improve clinical support services that assist clinicians to make proper diagnosis, the department has invested in the implementation of the picture archiving communication system, which is a system to which the X-ray images are electronically transferred to the referring clinician's computer or tablet and can be sent electronically to another healthcare institutions. This system is also responsible for storing X-ray imaging. The full implementation of the system will be completed in 2021-2022. Madam Speaker, development of specialties and subspecialties is one of the critical elements of a functional regional and tertiary services package. I'm proud to announce that we have 14 specialists who passed their registrar examinations in the 2020-21 year, of which one is a plastic and reconstruction surgeon and another a radiation oncologist. For the next financial year, we are targeting to have an additional 20 specialists enrolled onto the registrar program. In November 2020, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, LDS Charities, donated a total of 340 wheelchairs amounting to 1.9 million, which were issued to needy patients in the Eastern Cape. The department also issued 848 wheelchairs. The department also issued 861 hearing aids. A new addendum for the expansion of the LDS contribution has been signed in the early days of March 2021, which will see LDS provide to the department 4.1 million support to increase the wheelchair provision to 700 with inclusion of specialized wheelchairs. Furthermore, LDS will train departmental therapists on basic and intermediate World Health Organization accredited trainings in July 2021. In addition, LDS will sponsor 1,220 walking aids, including long canes for blind patients, as well as establishment of 6 wheelchair repair workshops, which will be provided with repair toolkits and spare parts. For the next financial year, the department has allocated 60 million for maternal and child health services in the 28 hub and spoke facilities, which also happen to be most litigated hospitals in the province. To improve effectiveness and efficiency of the emergency medical services, the department has procured an electronic call-taking and dispatching software system. The software is being rolled out at Nelson Mandela Bay Metro and Krisani, Omani, due to strong network requirements, whilst awaiting the full rollout of the broadband across the province. The department will continue to work with the Provincial Department of Transport through the government fleet management services to ensure that ambulances are prioritized, whilst also ensuring the ambulances procured are suitable for the rough terrain of the rural areas. To address the TB lost to follow up, the department will continue to implement the workplace programs, especially in the farming communities of Sarah Batman due to seasonal farming. The department is also embarking on the Welcome Back campaign through tracking and tracing HIV and TB patients lost to follow up. In the next financial year, the department will scale up prevention of mother-to-child HIV transmission by targeting to reduce to less than 0.5% PCR positivity in HIV-exposed children. This will be achieved by ensuring that at least 95% of HIV-positive pregnant mothers are initiated on ARV. In the next financial year, we shall invest 2.5 billion in the programs to prevent and treat HIV and AIDS and TB. To strengthen community education and awareness, the department has set aside 26.2 million of the above budget for advocacy, communication, and social mobilization. Honorable Speaker, we'll strengthen our school health program as well as maternal and child health programs in order to achieve our set targets. We'll invest in a massive health promotion drive underpinned by strong communication strategy in order to reduce the burden of disease of lifestyle such as diabetes and hypertension. Additionally, we'll focus on mental health services, which will be on the establishment of structures and the architecture to implement community-based mental health services. On gender-based violence, we provide services for the sexual assault victims through the provision of the post-exposure prophylaxis in our Tutuzela centers. To date, we have 76 of our hospitals and 5 community health centers being the providers of the services to victims of rape. We'll continue to provide these services. Madam Speaker, given the continued fiscal constraints, advancements in technology, and increase in life expectancy, the department is developing and will implement service platform optimization plan that will ensure that it delivers services that are responsive to these dynamics. The department is geared to provide a full package of services and levels of care with an emphasis on the primary health care approach to all users who rely and depend on the public health system, guided by the need to ensure access, equity, and equality. Our key focus for the next financial year will be on the correct categorization, classification, and resourcing of less than 50-bed hospitals, decanting and repurposing of some of the TB hospitals, as well as consolidation of health facilities that are within close proximity to one another. The services optimization plan will be anchored on a strong ICT platform, which will be ensuring that information is shared seamlessly between facilities across the provincial health delivery platform. Honorable Speaker, the threat of the unbudgeted medical legal claims that continue to eat away from department's budget that is earmarked for service delivery is fast manifesting into reality. Just from 2014-15 to the end of February 2021, the department has paid cumulative amount of 3.4 billion on medical legal claims. As a direct result of this, as at the end of December 2020, the department recorded payables and accruals of 3.1 billion, and this figure is expected to rise to 4.4 billion by the year end. It is for this reason that for the next financial year, huge focus will be on administrative interventions related to electronic records management as part of the e-health intervention in the highly litigated 28 hospitals. I'm happy to report that through the support of the Special Investigation Unit, we have managed to have 8 cases amounting to 96 million opened with the Directorate of Priority Crimes Investigation and are being processed through our courts. Informed by the limited financial resources, Honorable Speaker, for the next financial year, our focus on infrastructure will be more on maintaining our existing infrastructure portfolio as opposed to building new projects. Only a few projects which are currently ongoing will be prioritized in the next financial year and over the MTEF period. These include Craddock Hospital upgrade, Major CHC, Sipetu Hospital, Flagstaff CHC refurbishments at St. Elizabeth Hospital, Lady Grey Hospital, Nesonite, Cecilia Makiwane, mental unit, and the department will also continue to implement 16 projects to provide health professionals accommodation at Mpindweni, Isikoba, Nkwenkwana, Ndofela, Bumbane clinics, as well as Greenville, Grey, Majori Parish, All Saints, Victoria, Mpilisweni, Esilimela, Mthatha Regional, Nesonite, and Mjanyane hospitals. These harsh realities, honorable members, require that we rethink and reimagine how we deliver services to the people of the province. For efficient and cost-effective delivery of patient food, we shall procure directly from producers and manufacturers of fresh produce, dairy, meat, bread, and dry groceries. In the next financial year, we'll ensure that we expand economic opportunities to persons with disabilities, including designated services. Honorable Speaker and honorable members, information, communication, and technology platform and intervention strategies have become the cornerstone and engine to drive sectors of the society and economies globally. Madam Speaker, I will be investing 96 million to develop and strengthen e-health solutions that will lead to enhanced service delivery. In the next financial year, we will pursue some strategic partnership, both private and public partners. In conclusion, Madam Speaker, I wish to extend my sincere gratitude to the health team led by Acting Superintendent Dr. Zungu for their hard work and contribution towards realization of an improved quality health care to the entire population of the province. We are equally grateful for a philanthropic spirit of the developmental partners and private sector donors who truly assisted the department in its fight against this coronavirus. We are forever indebted to you. Ningasilahli mawethu. To all the employees of the Department of Health who braved COVID-19 in the front line, thank you very much for your dedication, patriotism, and humility in serving the people of the Eastern Cape. We are challenged to take change seriously, especially with the advent of coronavirus. Dr. Miles Monroe, 2009, in his book, Keys for Change, said, I quote, "Change is always an introduction of the future to the present. Change is always tomorrow taking over today, and denial of change is a decision to live in yesterday. To deny change is to become irrelevant," close quote. Madam Speaker, allow me to present the Eastern Cape Department of Health budget allocations, annual performance plan, operational plan, and service delivery improvement plan for 2020-21 financial year for consideration and approval. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Enkosi kakhulu Mphathiswa. Enkosi kakhulu Mphathiswa. Masibulele ngalo mgaqo-nkqubo awuthe thaca apha nawo onke amanye amaxwebhu ebekhapha oko. Sifuna ukuthi ke le ngxelo yawuthi ithunyelwe kwikomiti ejongene ngqo nesebe eli ngokokuba umthetho ku-Rule 161 umthethwana wesibini subsection 2 ugunyazisa ngolo hlobo. Yawuthi ke ithunyele apho ukwazi uba iphicothwe. Masamkele phaa kwigalari, ndiyaqaphela uba kukho iindwendwe ezikhoyo, abalawuli bamasebe abagalelekileyo ngaphakathi. You are all welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Ndizawucela sosiba wendlowiso mthetho usifundele i-order yesibini yosuku.
Tabling of vote number 11, human settlements.
Ndizawucela umphathiswa ojongene nophuhliso lwabantu nokuhlala, umama ukhontsiwe eze ngaphambili azawuthi thaca ingxelo yakhe ka-2021-2022 ngoko-Rule 160 subsection 4. Phambi koba ungene mphathiswa, this is the MEC's maiden speech. And as a member of the honorable members order, as a member of the honorable member of the Executive Council, in line with the parliamentary protocol, honorable members, Mamum Venya, I will give her an extended time to present her policy speech. The length of time, honorable MEC, will still be at my discretion. MEC Consiwe, you may now present your policy speech for the Department of Human Settlements. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Deputy Speaker. To the Speaker, the Deputy Speaker, the Premier of this province, Honorable Oscar Lubabalo Mabuyane, colleagues in the Executive Council, Abaphathiswa, and members of this House, my colleagues, you still my colleagues, members of the ANC, the African National Congress, that has deployed me here, and the alliance components, members of other political parties, I greet you all, the social partners and the private sector, the senior management officials who are watching through their departmental social media pages, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen who are also watching through the social media. Ndiyanibulisa nonke bethu kwezo ndawo nikuzo. Deputy Speaker and honorable representatives of our people, the citizens of this province, the home of legends. On behalf of the Department of Human Settlement, I wish to thank you for affording me this opportunity to table my maiden budget and policy speech for the year 2021-22. Deputy Speaker, indeed, as I begin, allow me to first greet the people of the Eastern Cape, the home of legend, and the stakeholders in the human settlement industry. The Freedom Charter, as adopted by the Congress of the People in Cape Town in the year 1955, says, among other things, that there shall be houses, security and comfort, and that is our main business. Today, as we deliver the 2021-22 policy speech and budget, I wish to recognize some of our great heroes and heroines who made great contribution in the struggle of freedom we continue to enjoy today. We recognize the 150 years of Mamu Charlotte Maxeke, Imbokodo. Mamu Charlotte Maxeke was a pioneer and a champion of women and human rights. And I believe that it was not a mistake that this year, 2021, has been declared the year of Mamu Charlotte Maxeke. Honorable Deputy Speaker, as we navigate this year of this great giant, we would like to recommit ourselves that we are coming back more focused, re-energized, considering that year 2020 has not been really a good year or an ordinary year. It has just have been full of challenges, very painful challenges though. Honorable Speaker, I wish to state that the 2021-22 budget and policy speech is also tabled at a time when, as a nation, we are commemorating the Human Rights Month to remind us about the sacrifices which have been made by the people such as Prophet Tatu Enoch Mgijima. Ukuba ebephila ngeke lo nyaka is finished 100 years. We want also to rededicate ourselves and commemorate his lives and struggles for the people of this province. We also commemorate the Human Rights Month. We also wish to reinforce our commitment in the Bill of Rights, which include the human dignity, that everyone has inherent dignity, that must have their dignity protected. The department also takes comfort that it has come as a useful tool and principle of the Freedom Charter. So we are tabling that as the way of implementing the resolutions of the Freedom Charter. However, fellow members, it is unfortunate that as we commemorate the 2021 human rights, we do so whilst we are in the middle of pandemic, two pandemics, the COVID-19 and the gender-based violence. These pandemics have caused a lot of pain and disruption in our lives and our livelihoods. We'll remember that where we stay in our areas, there is no week or days that go by without us hearing that there are women, children, and young girls being killed by men, the creature called man. So the COVID-19, for most of us, our loved ones have been taken away by this pandemic. I would like to pass our heartfelt condolences to those families that have lost their loved ones through this. I would like also to appeal to the people of the Eastern Cape in particular to allow to be vaccinated as soon as the vaccine reaches them. Otherwise, Deputy Speaker, because of COVID-19 pandemic, the economy across the board has experienced serious shrinkage, and sector of human segment has also not been immune to this shrink. As a result, we have also experienced the slump as a sector. And honorable members, the National Minister of Human Settlement, Usis Lindiwe Sisulu, has guided us. Has guided us that we need to roll our sleeves and revive the sector by implementing our infrastructure projects and make sure that we make smarter work with all the limitations of the pandemic and the limitation in the budget. Honorable Speaker, we agree that we live in the testing and distressing times, which require us to have hope and maintain a positive attitude. I am reminded of the words which our former president, Nelson Rolihlahla Mandela, once said when he wrote hundreds of letters from prison to his family and friends during these difficult times. He said, quoting the American psychologist Dr. Norman Vincent Peale in his work, Power of Positive Thinking and the Result of Positive Thinking. He makes this basic point. It is not much the disability that one suffers from that matters, but one's attitude towards that. If a man says, I will conquer this illness and live a happy life, he is halfway to victory. Members, I would like to encourage you that we be fortified the same way Madiba was during his times in prison, that even during this period of this pandemic that I've mentioned and hardships caused by this, hope is a powerful weapon. When all is lost, we shall recover. We shall overcome, and ultimately we shall prosper. As I highlight the reviews and highlights of 2021, Honorable Speaker, in the previous budget policy speech, the department outlined the strategic priorities that are aligned to the National Development Plan and the Provincial Development Plan. Accordingly, today, we are reporting progress against those priorities, and at the same time, we are presenting our plans to advance the implementation of our housing plans in the coming year. Honorable Deputy Speaker, at the beginning of the term, we stated very clear that our focus will be on changing lives of the people, in particular of the Eastern Cape, by providing quality homes to the needy, destitute, and most vulnerable beneficiaries as an intervention which rescues helpless people from trenches of poverty and homelessness. Today, the department is pleased to say we are making steady progress towards achieving our goals, especially to homeless people. Honorable members, for the period under review, we have delivered through our low-cost subsidy program 4,494 units with 4,137 destitute and other vulnerable groups housed and 49 military veterans verified. Deputy Speaker, we committed to rectify pre- and post-1994 defective houses, and this financial year we have rectified a total number of 294 units. We shall continue to gradually reduce defective houses in line with the 10% human settlement grant allocation. As part of social facilitation programs, 1,422 housing beneficiaries were educated and 10 project steering committees were supported. Honorable members, issuing of title deeds. Yes, we are aware that here we have a backlog, but this one, this is one of the department's priorities, which places emphasis on restoring South African citizens' dignity by building for them sustainable houses. In this regard, we continue to make progress. In the period under review, we have managed at least to issue out 891 title deeds to qualifying beneficiaries. Honorable members, the department contributes towards transforming the poverty market and promotes access to urban opportunity and social integration through access to well-located, affordable housing and decent shelter, thereby reversing urban fragmentation and highly inefficient sprawl. 164 rental housing were delivered through our social housing program, and 106 housing units delivered through the finance-linked individual subsidy program, FLIPS. Honorable members, as the department is paying particular attention to the youth development, as pronounced by the Premier of the province in his State of the Province address, it's indicated that this is a priority of this government. Thus far, we would like to report that the department has about 100 apprenticeship learners, which are divided as equivalent to 65 women and 35 males in the following areas: 5 in Sarabatman, in particular in Kocha municipality, and 14 in Buffalo City Metro, in particular in Duncan and Danzane, that's 11 females and 3 males. In Joukabi, 18, in particular in Sengu and Walter Sisulu. 23 in OR Tambo, in particular in PSJ, Port St. John's Municipality, and Nyandeni. And in Nelson Mandela Metro, 16 females and 6 males, that's 22. We have also through our youth brigade program, created 140 empowerment opportunities for our young people in the following categories: 40 male youth and 100 female youth in Chris Hani and Buffalo City metro municipalities. In addition to this, in the period under review, the department had 40 interns, of which 45% were males and 55% females. Furthermore, to maintain this momentum, we have since December 2020 advertised 7 interns to replace those that have left the department for better opportunities. The prerequisite qualification for those interns will be the degree in human settlement, of which we are aware that it is provided in the Nelson Mandela University and University of Fort Hare. Moreover, Honorable Speaker, a total of 13 TVET learners, 2 males and 11 females, were placed in the department for experimental learning in the 2021 financial year, which counts for 85% females and 15% males. You will have observed that we are biased more on females, even though we are tending to the youth. Honorable members, we appreciate the intervention we are making to support the small, medium, and micro enterprises, the SMMEs, through subcontracting and direct contracting opportunities. In this period, the department has supported about 46 SMMEs towards sustainable business enterprises. These projects include SMMEs, 4 females and 2 males. In ADO, 516 projects and 40 SMMEs. In Restine, and 840 projects. Honorable members, as you may be aware that EPWP program continues to be an indispensable weapon to fight against the unemployment. In our bid to contribute to the provincial drive to create jobs through EPWP program, 5,931 job opportunities have been created through EPWP compliant program as follows: 1,854 men and 553 women, 1,138 female youth and 2,382 male youth, and 4 disabled or people with disability. Deputy Speaker, as you are aware that the 2 metros received the Urban Settlement Development Grant directly from the National Department of Human Settlement, and the province has a responsibility of exercising oversight in the implementation thereof. The department is continuing to support with the implementation of the catalytic projects in the metros. In the year under review, the department is supporting the following catalytic projects in Buffalo City Metro and Nelson Mandela. Deputy Speaker, the difficult conditions of our people living in informal settlement is being addressed through the upgrading of informal settlement program with the provision of essential and basic services to improve quality of their living environments. In the 2020-21 financial year, the department has entered into strategic partnership with selected municipalities as implementing agents to upgrade 115 identified informal settlements in the province. Yes, in compliance with DORA. Honorable members, with the extended mandate from the Housing to Integrated Human Settlement, the department will continue with its approach of promoting a sense of community. In this regard, the department committed to contract 2 multipurpose community centers. The department is pleased that both MPCs are complete. On the 4th of March 2021, the department launched a beautiful facility to Kaiga community called Tamboville, and the Restine MPCC project is ready to be handed over very soon. Deputy Speaker, we appreciate the support that we receive from the provincial government to strengthen our institutional capacity with the limited equitable share. In the period under review, the department has advertised a total number of 54 funded vacant posts, and the department would like to report that 29 appointments have already been finalized. The remaining posts are at the stage of interviews and shortlisting and will be finalized very soon within this financial year 2021-22. Deputy Speaker, the Departmental Rental Housing Tribunal continues to provide services to the people of the province by assisting in dealing with the dispute resolutions between the landlords and the tenants. In the year under review, the department has resolved 137 cases of rental disputes. There was an increased demand to resolve cases on the rental disputes which resulted from the evictions caused by the COVID-19 pandemic. Honorable members, the department would like to acknowledge the underachievement. This is mainly due to the challenging financial year resulting from COVID-19 pandemic. The department has been negatively affected by the construction paralysis due to the total shutdown during this period, consequent to underachievement by the planned and deliverables. The shutdown also affected the material suppliers of the province to the detriment of the local contractors, which showed down their performance on the re-establishment of their sites. Additional to the above challenge are micro and macro planning as well as procurement-related inadequacies. These cited challenges of the underspending resulted in the National Department withholding or taking away an amount of 338 million from the HSDG budget. However, the department has since put a recovery plan to recover the lost momentum by maximizing the performance on the running contracts, as well as reinforcing concurrent functions on agency basis between the two spheres of government, to ensure improved service delivery to the people of the province. The department is therefore committed to improve the performance and ensure that there will no further underspending in the near future. The policy priorities and outlook for 2021-22. Honorable members,
Sorry,
the
MEC?
Premier of this province.
Sorry, MEC. Kau ngaku sondela pe mic kangen.
Oh, no.
Okay. Yes, proceed.
Honorable Deputy Speaker, thank you very much. The Premier of this province has stated in his State of the Province address on the 23rd February that the immediate task of the provincial government is to intensify the work of transforming the economy and create jobs. Therefore, the department is up to the task posed by the Premier, despite the challenges of the limited resources. In the 2021-22 financial year, we'll continue to be guided by our overriding 6 priorities that we have set up in the beginning of the 6th term of administration, which are as follows: upscaling of housing opportunities with special focus and prioritization of the destitute, vulnerable groups and military veterans; systematic unblocking of historical blocked projects; accelerated registration and issuance of title deeds to their rightful homeowners; increase in empowerment opportunities for the SMMEs, including women and youth; upgrading of informal settlements, and provision of social and economic amenities, and continuous use and application of innovative and sustainable building technologies.
5 minutes added
Wow.
to your 20 minutes because it's Mayday.
Thank you. Honorable members, our targets as articulated in our HSDG business plan for the 21-22 financial year include the delivery of 7,442 housing opportunities, will be inclusive of 190 of finance-linked individuals subsidy and 112 of subsidy programs. Honorable members, as part of our program to install service sites, a total number of 7,505 service sites will be delivered in all our regions. In terms of sites breakdown, we are targeting to install 4,902 in rural areas and 2,603 services will be installed in urban areas. Deputy Speaker, under the remedial works program, the department will rectify 1,287 units in the following regions: in 346 in Amatole, 216 in Buffalo City, 140 in Krisani, 194 in Nelson Mandela, 220 in Ouartambo, 127 in Sarabatman. This allocation is consistent with the 10% of the HSDG set in the guidelines. Honorable members, Building houses for the military veterans is progressing very well. The department's plan for the 2021 is to deliver 240 units for the military veterans. Through the Human Settlement Development Grant, the department will register 4,503 title deeds under the following categories: pre-94, 400, post-94, 2,200, post-2014, 1,500, and new 403 title deeds. Deputy Speaker, the department has established several mechanisms to ensure that women and youth actively participate in the economy. As a result of that, the department has set the following targets: that 40% of the HSDG construction budget is allocated to the designated groups. In addition, all new departmental housing projects will implement 30% subcontracting, wherein 30% of that total of units per project will be allocated to the local SMMEs, and a total of 116 SMME contractors will be supported towards sustainable business enterprise. The department will train 200 youth or young people on technical skills through the Youth Brigade program established in line with the National Youth Development Strategy. In these projects, Somerset East, Sarabatman, Kouga, Komga, 570, in Amatole, Orange Grove, and Buffalo City and Matatiele in Alfrenzo. As part of the departmental contribution to EPWP job strategy, we continue to set up the target of 7,500. The department entered into formal partnership with Construction, Education and Training Authority, CETA, to train and develop 100 artisans. And these youth are in their final year on the Artisan Development Program. The department will recruit and train 45 unemployed youth graduates for internship program. The recruitment for the internship program will be biased towards youth with construction or built environment qualification and degrees in human settlement, particularly from Nelson Mandela University and Forte. Those are the universities that we know they provide this field. The department will further enroll 22 learners from TVET colleges to expose them to experiential training. Honorable Deputy Speaker.
1 minute.
Oh. The appropriated budget for the Human Settlement 21-22 HSDG is 1.4 billion. USIP 432.428 million, equitable share 398, Ukulapa MEC Treasury, EPWP 2.7 million, the total is 2 billion, 2.3. In conclusion, Honorable Deputy Speaker,
yes, ma'am.
In conclusion, as I'm concluding, I would like to indicate that we are making good progress to ensure that we are ready to implement the projects in the year 21-22. I would like to take this opportunity and appreciate the strides made by the departmental officials to assist in compiling this document to this end. I would like also to express a special gratitude to Honorable MEC, the one that my predecessor, Honorable Peters, for laying a solid foundation in the department, and wish her well in her new portfolio. Furthermore, the department, I also wish to thank the Premier for affording me this opportunity. I commit that I will not disappoint the people of the Eastern Cape. In addition, I would like to thank and express my gratitude to the organization, the African National Congress, that has deployed me here always provide political guidance and support to ensure that the manifesto of the African National Congress is thank you very much.
Honorable, sorry, Honorable. You can just table your documents officially.
Thank you very much, Deputy Speaker. I first table this document, the policy speech, service delivery improvement plan, operational plan, and annual performance plan, including the approved strategic plan.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Awesome. Thank you very much. That was a maiden speech by the honourable member. Honourable Murth, that was an inaugural as a new MEC for Health. And this one is maiden as an MEC. Thank you very much, honourable members, for that work. Now, the policy speech, honourable members, and all table documents by the honourable MEC stand referred to the portfolio committee responsible for the subject matter of the vote in terms of Rule 161, subsection 2. I will now ask the Secretary to read the next order of the day.
Okay. Tabling of vote number 12, Provincial Treasury.
I will now call upon the honourable MEC responsible for Treasury to present his 2021-2022 policy speech in terms of Rule 160, subsection 4.
It's my
Honourable Mvoko. 20 minutes. Unfortunately, it's not maiden.
Thank you very much, Honourable Deputy Speaker. Bendizawucela ke la 5 minutes kamama ngayifumananga. Cha ke soyikhumshile ngokulento bendizayicela wengeza apha kum ngizama ukuthethelela wena ke mama alungi. Honourable Speaker, Honourable Deputy Speaker, Honourable Premier, Honourable members, my colleagues, the members of Executive Council, senior government officials, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, Molweni, Goeiemorgen. Honourable Speaker, today I table in this House the Provincial Treasury Annual Performance Plan and Operational Plan for 2021-22. We begin this year at the back of a declining economy compounded by the impact of COVID-19. This economic shock and others before it threw us off and necessitated adjustments in our strategies and plans going forward. Our envisioned target in this race, however, is to achieve our goal of a better life for all. We call for everyone involved in the value chain of service delivery to exercise fiscal discipline. If we abide by this call, we will overcome the current setbacks and we shall achieve our goals. Coupled with this is a need for us all to commit to clean governance and accountability, especially in light of the further budget cuts that have been implemented for the 2021 MDEF. The Department's strategic priorities outlined in the 2020 to 2025 strategic plan and the 21-22 annual performance plan will remain the same, albeit a few adjustments that are in response to economic and fiscal challenges that we are currently dealing with. Our strategic priorities are as follows: fiscal consolidation, supply chain management reforms, infrastructure support, and provincial and municipal governments and accountability. They are unchanged. Honourable Speaker, as I indicated in the provincial budget speech 2 weeks ago, cost containment measures will form the basis of our fiscal consolidation strategy to stabilize provincial finances, especially during this period of constrained economic activity worsened by the current COVID-19 pandemic. Our focus will largely be on management of wage bill, zero-based budgeting, reducing government contingency liability costs, and provincial owned revenue. Our ballooning wage bill has got to be managed by ensuring that spending ceilings are being maintained through various measures that include controlling of the compensation of employees in the province through participation in the provincial coordinating monitoring team and the centralization of authorization of appointments on PESAL, working closely with the Office of the Premier. Service delivery models and organograms are also being validated in an effort to ensure that our capacity to deliver services is not compromised. As a department, we will never stop in our endeavor to make provincial treasury an employer of choice. We will continue to ensure that critical posts are filled by the appropriately skilled personnel at correct levels. Provincial Treasury, Honourable Deputy Speaker, will continue to lead the implementation of zero-based budgeting exercise in the province. That has yielded much-needed savings for the provincial fiscus. All spending must be justified and aligned with strategic outcomes and service delivery priorities to eliminate inefficiencies while strengthening allocative efficacy. The department undertook a public expenditure review exercise to assess the extent to which departmental policies influence spending on cost drivers so that it can inform more efficient future resource allocation. The use of consultants forms part of the performance expenditure review exercise with a view to reducing their use and identifying areas for savings. Honorable Deputy Speaker, in my recent budget speech, I reported at length about the challenge that the Department of Health and indeed the province is facing regarding contingency liability costs as a result of medical legal claims. These litigations against the Department of Health are posing a serious threat to Provincial Revenue Fund. Treasury has a mandate to intervene in instances where a provincial department experiences serious financial management challenges that impact negatively to the delivery of services. The formation of a multidisciplinary team involving the Office of the Premier, Health Department, and Provincial Treasury is intended to address this challenge. Over and above addressing specific health systemic and administrative challenges, focus will also be on strengthening legal services to investigate and defend cases. To assist in addressing liquidity challenges, we conducted a research study in collaboration with the Office of the Premier on the root causes of the accruals and payables affecting the Department of Health and Education. Provincial Treasury will continue to monitor the implementation of the outcomes of that research study to ensure that the root causes of the accruals and payables are attended to. I'm sure when I'm in the portfolio committee, we'll be able to share those experiences. Honourable members, despite the negative impacts on tax revenues due to economic contraction brought about by COVID-19, Provincial Treasury, working closely with revenue-generating departments in the province, is focused on implementing the revenue generation and enhancement study. I've shared with the study that what it projects that we can collect even yesterday in this House. A targeted support will accordingly be given to the Department of Public Works to maximize revenue generated from the property portfolio. As I explained in my recent budget speech, given the budget cuts owing to tight fiscal environment, provincial revenue helps to a certain extent to fund the budget deficit. On supply chain management reforms, honourable members, one area that is prone to fraud and corrupt practices is supply chain management. As our Premier also alluded to this in his State of the Province address. The department will continue to strive to root out these corrupt practices and introduce innovative approaches to procurement in government to achieve value for money on public spending. Provincial Treasury, working together with a Government Technical Advisory Center, which is GTEC, has embarked on a supply chain management review in the province. The aim is to identify best practices in the supply chain management that can be included within the supply chain management regulatory environment, identify current SCM challenges, including underlying causes, and propose improvements. The outcomes of this SCM review should lead to the development of a blueprint and a transition roadmap for a transformed SCM regime in the province. SCM is key to accelerated delivery of services, is key to value for money in public spending and socio-economic transformation, leading to the empowerment of our people. The drive to implement local economic development procurement framework remains one of the key focus areas of Provincial Treasury to support departments to promote local content and procurement opportunities for local businesses. The intention is to ensure a maximum retention of provincial fiscal spend in the province and to stabilize vulnerable and declining sectors as a result of the economic crisis and deindustrialization. Currently, 62% of procurement spend benefits local suppliers, and in 21-22 financial year, we commit to continue supporting departments to sustain this achievement against the 50% threshold. We'll continue to facilitate the training of SMMEs on business planning, financial management, and compliance with tender requirements, the National Home Builders Registration Council requirements, marketing, budgeting, writing a proposal, and invoice tracking. The drive to improve procurement efficiencies through transversal contracts, capacitation of suppliers on opportunities available to SMMEs to do business with government, including administrative support and registration on the central supplier database and logis, will continue through the financial year. We'll intensify our efforts in monitoring the implementation of the procurement plans to eradicate delays in service delivery. The price index for high volume, low value items has been updated in order to ensure we pay market related prices for commodities. Provincial Treasury will continue to provide guidance in the procurement of goods and services to promote locally produced goods while working closely with the Department of Economic Development, Environmental Affairs and Tourism to transform identified industries using supply chain and management legislation. Honorable members, the immoral practice and potential conflict of interest by state officials who register their businesses on central supply database with an intention to trade with government is receiving the attention it deserves. The department is engaging with National Treasury to improve CST system to detect officials before they are even registered. In the meantime, we will intensify our efforts to identify government employees doing business with the state and escalate the matter to their respective departments for consequence management. Honorable Deputy Speaker, Provincial Treasury will continue with their supporting role into infrastructure delivery in the province through implementation of infrastructure delivery management system. The aim is to promote and institutionalize the implementation of well-defined infrastructure processes in order to achieve effective infrastructure delivery in all spheres of government. The support given to the Department of Health and the Department of Education regarding infrastructure plans has led to both departments receiving incentive funding of 63.3 million and 78.1 million rand respectively. This is a big deal, Honorable Deputy Speaker, especially at a time when we are losing money in the province due to poor infrastructure performance. To improve infrastructure performance in the province, the department will recruit and deploy infrastructure technical specialists to department to enhance infrastructure monitoring and advise to ensure value creation. Ongoing support will continue to be provided to departments to improve, to implement the framework for infrastructure delivery and procurement management and align infrastructure projects to the district development model to strengthen integrated infrastructure planning, procurement and delivery across the infrastructure. On provincial and municipal governments and accountability, we still need to work hard as the province in order to realize the goal we set for ourselves of establishing credible financial controls and ultimately achieve 100% on clean administration. One key objective of this province is to ensure effective financial management that promotes transparency and accountability to its citizens. Strengthening governance structures is also vital, including building capacity in the internal audit units and risk management structures. The department will continue to implement quality assurance reviews to improve internal audit services in the provincial departments. Coupled with these reviews will be ongoing professional training and development of internal auditors and risk management managers in the province. As I indicated earlier, fraud and corruption remain enemies of progress at any institution or sphere of government. We've established fraud prevention strategies and forensic investigation work is being conducted to deal decisively with corruption. As a result, 7 forensic investigations were completed in the 2021 financial year. We'll continue to sharpen the forensic audit skills of our officials through ongoing training and development to ensure that this area of work is strengthened. We will not rest until we root out this fraud and corruption in the province. The department will continue to implement the financial management accountability framework to institutionalize discipline in the management of public resources and ensure that departments and entities move towards sustainable financial maturity. Where there are breaches of the accountability framework standards, we'll escalate those to the executive authorities of the departments. To improve audit outcomes in the province, Provincial Treasury will continue to coordinate audit improvement strategies through the implementation and monitoring of the Provincial Audit Intervention Plan and analysis of audit action plans in the province. To this end, 11 departments and all public entities obtained unqualified audit opinions. And ongoing financial management support is being provided to provincial departments and municipalities, including M-Score implementation at municipalities. Our support to municipalities is specially referenced and aligned to district development model. We are cognizant of the increasing need for public institutions to work together in the delivery of public services for better results and to achieve maximum impact. We therefore commend continuous collaboration between the Office of the Premier, COCTA, and Provincial Treasury in dealing with all issues of governance in the province. We are participating on various intervention programs at Makana, Inok-Ngijima, and Amatole district municipalities in an effort to stabilize their finances. We're still at the initial stages of development of the financial recovery plans at Makana and Amatole, while the implementation of the financial recovery plan at Inok-Ngijima is showing progress. Honorable Speaker, all of the above commitments will not succeed without giving special attention to human capital development and ongoing change management initiatives in the department. The focus is on leadership development to enhance business resilience and help rebuild the institution in this new normal. Change management programs assist employees to understand, commit to, accept and embrace change in the current operational environment impacted by the pandemic that requires agility. Hence, the department's huge investment on ICT and focus on technology to ensure business continuity during the current pandemic and enable staff to work remotely. The process of finalizing the review of the 5-year ICT strategy is underway to align it to departmental strategy and to the government-wide enterprise architecture framework. And the strategy will outline those business processes that ICT will be able to automate to improve service delivery and lower costs. Somlomo, let us be reminded that the challenges that we're facing today are just a setback and not our destiny. Our common goal is to deliver services to improve living conditions of our people. And for as long as we remain fixated to that goal, we shall conquer. Paul, in his book of Hebrews, had prepared us for this race. In Hebrews chapter 12, verse 1, he says, I quote, "Therefore, since we are surrounded by such a great cloud of witnesses, let us throw off everything that hinders and the sin that so easily entangled, and let us run with perseverance the race marked out for us." Close quote. We call upon all our stakeholders to join hands in support of our strategic outcomes that are characterized by fiscal consolidation. The reprioritization exercise that we currently embarked on will elevate us out of this economic quagmire. Our leadership quality as a province will be tested on how we navigate this tumultuous journey. Any counter-energies to the adopted fiscal consolidation policy will be inviting us to Section 100 of the Constitution. I'd like to thank all the members of the Executive Council of the Eastern Cape, as led by the Honorable Premier, for their guidance that they have offered us. The same gratitude goes to all the Oversight Committee members who have ensured that we execute our mandate optimally. The HOD, Mr. Macheke, with his senior management and staff, have also done a great job in ensuring that our department is able to discharge its responsibility. As I descend, the following are the budget allocations that will drive our programs in 20. There's a table in there. As I descend, I find it appropriate to draw in the fountain of the wisdom of former Prime Minister of Kenya, Mr. Jomo Kenyatta, when he asserted that our children may learn about heroes of the past. Our task is to make ourselves architects of the future, open and close quote. We commit to use these resources optimally to finance the commitments we have outlined above. I thank you, Honorable Speaker. As I tabled earlier in this House, the Treasury, APP, and Operational Plan for 21-22 financially. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Enkosi kakhulu mphathisi. right on time. The policy speech and all other table documents stand referred to the Portfolio Committee responsible for the subject matter of the vote in terms of Rule 161, subsection 2. I will now ask the Secretary to read the fourth order of the day.
Tabling of vote number 14, Sport, Recreation, Arts and Culture.
Thank you very much. I will now call upon the member of the Executive Council responsible for the Department of Sports, Recreation, Arts and Culture to present her 2021-2022 policy in terms of Rule 160, subsection 4. Over to you, Mphathiswa.
The Deputy Speaker, the Honourable Speaker of the Provincial Legislature, the Premier of the Province of the Eastern Cape, members of the Executive Council, chairpersons of our portfolio committees, honourable members of the House, leaders of faith-based organizations, government officials present, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, and all those that are watching us live on our social media platform. Greetings to all of you. I wish I had the extra time that was enjoyed by Honourable Konzi. Allow me, Honourable Deputy Speaker, before I run out of time, to to this House and the entire Eastern Cape community our 2021-22 annual performance plan, 2021-22 operational plan, as well as the budget summary for both the Department of Sports, Recreation, Arts and Culture and the Eastern Cape Provincial Arts and Culture Council, which is called EGPEC. We have a total budget of 980,228. This year, we mark 150th anniversary of the birth of one of the South Africa's most remarkable and pioneering leaders, Charlotte Manya Maxeke, the first black South African woman to obtain a Bachelor of Science degree and the founding president of Bantu Women's League. Charlotte Maxeke made an exceptional contribution to our struggle for liberation. Through her activism, she challenged established attitudes about the role of women in politics, society, and the economy. She was a fearless leader who organized the first defiance campaign against the pass system, mobilizing all women from all walks of life to ban their passes as early as 1913. As we commemorate the recent anniversary of the 1960 Sharpeville anti-pass campaign and massacre, we should also commemorate the women who pioneered the anti-pass campaign in 1913 and 1956. Honourable Deputy Speaker, this brings me to the critical point about the erasure of women from our history. Multitude of women who fought for our liberation remain nameless and invisible in the history books. As the department, we are tasked with the preservation and promotion of our heritage. Our Liberation Heritage Program has to be deliberate about making visible and giving prominence to the critical role played by women in South African liberation struggle. This year, we also commemorate the 100 years since the brutal massacre of the members of the Church of God and Saint of Christ led by Prophet Enoch Mgijima Entabelanga in 1921, in what has come to be known as the Bulhoek Massacre. We will also commemorate 200 years of Unsikana Kakapa, a towering figure in the history of our province, a renowned prophet and a philosopher, a giant whose remarkable life story must definitely be shared with future generations. Honourable Deputy Speaker, one of our key responsibilities as the department is to tell a story of what a great nation we are and what a resilient people we are. When we call ourselves the home of the legends, it is to remind ourselves that sizalwa ngamaqhawe namaqhawekazi kwaye amaqhawe ukutsho oko. It is to remind ourselves of the greatness within us. It is also to acknowledge the great responsibility we have to build on the foundations laid by the legends that have made this province to be known as legendary. We table our policy speech at a very difficult time where the sport, recreation, arts and culture sectors continue to be the hardest hit due to the regulations on social distancing and the prohibition of gatherings. Siphuma kwixesha apho besinikezela nge-relief fund qinisekisa uba apho sinako ukuncedisa khona i-artist kwakunye ne-athletes siyakwazi ukuncedisa. Mandivume ke sisekela somlomo ukuba le nkqubo yokuncedisana nabo kwi-social relief fund khange ibe inkqubo elula leyo, ibe namagingxigingxi amaninzi. we experienced a lot of unforeseen challenges that delayed the disbursement of funds to successful beneficiaries. Kwaye ngenxa yokushokoxeka kwemali khange sifike kuwo wonke umuntu ebesinomdla ukufikelela kuwo. Kodwa kusixolisayo kokokuba sikwazile ukucuceza kuloo ntwana ibincinci sinayo sakwazi ukufikelela kwabanye. The creative and sporting industries are important contributors to the economy, and a number of people derive their means of livelihood from these industries. And as a department, we have been required to develop short-term and long-term interventions to mitigate the impact of the pandemic in these sectors. In terms of arts and culture, heritage, Honorable Deputy Speaker, as a province, we are endowed with a rich tapestry of culture, heritage, and abundance of creative talent. We must appreciate that this is our gold mine that we should use to develop and also diversify the economy of the province. Our aim is to create a vibrant cultural and creative economy through investing in our creators and to produce a critical mass of creative entrepreneurs. Our investment in this regard is anchored under the 3 areas, which is funding for projects, training and capacity buildings, but also creating platforms and access to markets. Our investment in the cultural and creative industries is critical in supporting our collective attempts towards a post-COVID-19 economic recovery. As a department, we are also continually evolving our role from being primarily a provider of arts, culture, and heritage opportunities to provide greater support to programs initiated and driven by communities in our society. Over the coming year, we are going to invest in our institutions like your art centers, theaters, museums, the Eastern Cape Provincial Arts and Culture Council, the Eastern Cape Audiovisual Center, and others, to ensure that these institutions are fully functional, they are well governed, and they have the modern equipment and the necessary capabilities to support community-driven arts and culture initiatives. Our approach is further underpinned by partnerships and collaborations with local artists, community organizations, academic institutions, entrepreneurs, private enterprise, and other different spheres of government and other public agencies. Honorable Deputy Speaker, ndingasele ndichaza ke ukuba ngabana i-partnerships esizisekayo kusukela kunyaka ophelileyo nesiziqulunqayo kulonyaka siyaku zizala amaduna namathokazi. Ngexesha elifanelekileyo ndizawuphinde ndime phambi kwalendlu wisomthetho ndidakanye ukuba zeziphi ezi partnerships ndithetha ngazo nokuba zenze ntoni na. Okwangoku andikwazi ubetha ivuvuzela nangona ndinemincili. In terms of our support to the performing arts, over the years, besicacisa ukuba sinomdla wokudibanisa our 2 main theaters, i-Guild Theatre kwakunye ne-PE Opera House, into an Eastern Cape Performing Arts Institute. We are happy to report that National Treasury has approved the funding of ECPI, and we will further build on the work that we have developed in terms of policies and procedure manuals that are going to guide the entity itself. We are looking forward to launch ECPI in September this year. We will also continue our programs of resourcing our provincial art centers in terms of equipment and infrastructure renovations. The National Arts Festival last year pioneered the hosting of virtual performances and exhibitions as well as e-commerce platforms in the province. During this financial year, we are intending to roll out what we have rolled out in the National Arts Festival to our district festivals under the theme District Development Model. Furthermore, through ECPAC, we are committing funding for artists to embrace digital platforms like podcasts, online events, and ebooks. Through our entity ECPAC, we have partnered with the Arts and Culture Trust, ACT, to provide an opportunity to 20 creatives to participate in an extensive 3-month-long creative entrepreneurship accelerator program, which is aimed at honing their business skill. Kulonyaka mali, we will further provide an opportunity to 10 more creative entrepreneurs to join this program. Our ultimate goal, honorable members, is to accelerate the growth of the creative industries to stimulate self-employment and job opportunities. We will continue to support local fashion designers and seamstresses to gain access to the state-of-the-art computer-aided design facility and practical skills through our Fashion Design Innovation Center at the Mthatha-based Craft Hub. Ukuxhasa i-fashion designers zethu ke kuqala ngokuba thina sibe kanti sithungisa kuzo sinxitywe zizo njengalo mbhaco ndiwunxibileyo. Lo mbhaco uthungwe intombi yaseMount Elif uNoloyiso Lubhelwana, who goes on the social media as Scripture Creations. We have also selected a seasoned fashion designer, Umamulinda Sithole from Tanzania, who specializes in isiXhosa traditional wear, to participate in the International Fashion and Dance Extravaganza, which will be held virtually in Hanover, Germany in October 2021.
Proceed.
She will produce no less than 30 garments, but you are still in the limelight, yalo Hanover. We will be launching an online craft market, a digital platform for marketing the exquisite craft products ezenziwe ngezandla zabantu beliphondo. With respect to film development, ndicela uyiparaphrase, Honorable Deputy Speaker, ukwenzela into yobana ndingamoshi ixesha. Through the Provincial Stimulus Fund, and as well as the finances that were given ECPAG, we in the past year have funded 23 films and documentaries whose storyline showcase the theme of the home of the legends from across the province. We have also launched an online film portal which serves as a digital database and knowledge repository for the film industry in the province. In this financial year, we will collaborate with one of the national broadcasters to develop a 100% Eastern Cape made television drama series. Manphind kudala nibukela ezinye telenovelas zezinye province uzalo nezinye. This year we will be having our own. This drama series is intended to catalyze film development and position the Eastern Cape as an emerging film hub in the country. We seek to unlock the entire film value chain, creating employment for a wider variety of people, bonke your sound engineers, film set builders, fashion designers, catering, security, nezinye izinto. This will have a ripple effect onto the hospitality industry, as the cast and the crew would have to be accommodated in the production area, which would be in the province of the Eastern Cape. Siza kubuyisela kundalashe eliphondo. Funeka umakhwalo lo ongumama ka Honorable Fihlani xa ethila umabonakude wakhe abuke limiboniso yalapha ephondweni inabantu beliphondo ididiyelwe kweliphondo lengqondo. We are still very much committed to establishing the Eastern Cape Film Commission, and as reported last year, the lack of resources has hampered us. However, we have developed a film policy, and this financial year we will be working on consolidating the Eastern Cape Provincial Film Office, and that film office will be housed at ECPAG. With respect to museums and heritage, the department will take advantage of advancements in technologies by packaging information and content into the DISRAC website, where South Africans and people from the rest of the world will be able to access our museum offerings online and also embark on virtual tours on the institutions. Kwakhona, we will continue our investment on the infrastructure for our museums. In this financial year, we will do refurbishments of the Fort Beaufort Museum, Kariega Museum, kwakunye neBuckley East Museum. Siyaziqonda challenges ebezembethwe yi-ECPRA kwaye sine council entsha ngoku esiyi-appointileyo kwi-ECPRA, and we are making sure that we are fast-tracking the applications for permits of demolition of old buildings for the purpose of investment in infrastructure. Our focus will also be on paleontological and archaeological sites that have a potential to unearth hidden history and heritage. This includes the Khemecha site as Texprate, apho kwafunyana khona i-rare fossils esikholelwa into yobana zeze-dinosaur. We are working with the University of Witwatersrand, Free State, Birmingham University and Oxford University to research these fossils. Eastern Cape Geographical Names Councils, andizudade lenzulwini, Honorable Deputy Speaker and Honorable Members, niyayazi bengundaba mlonyeni kwezi veki zimbalwa zidlulileyo kwaye iza kuqhubekeka ukwenza umsebenzi wawo of continuing to standardize our place names in the province, because our main conviction is that this is not just about the names, but it speaks to our identity as a nation. And therefore we have a task to construct a common identity that affirms our culture, our language, and the symbols of indigenous people in this country. And therefore we are not going to shy away from correcting the injustices of the past and also affirm the inclusion and previously marginalized. The name changes are about restoring the dignity and making visible all those who have been made invisible in the apartheid colonialism. In terms of liberation heritage route, sizawuqhubekeka nokwenza phase 2 kwa Canon James Talata Heritage Landscape eKiska Mahuk. Kwakhona we will also commemorate and dedicate a memorial lecture to the victims of the Northern Area Riots Massacre of 1990 at Gqeberha, and the memorial site will then be built to pay homage to those that perished and to foster reconciliation and social cohesion. We will also continue to host the significant heritage programs that we always host in the province to promote social cohesion in the 8 districts, and this would include the commemoration of the Bulhoek massacre as well as 150th anniversary of Mamuchalot Maxake. Umamu Maxake will also is known as a renowned chorister, so this year we will dedicate our annual Oartambo Choral Festival to her, thus having 2 giants of our liberation struggle share the stage through choral music. In terms of languages, we will engage on the campaign to encourage provincial government departments to establish language units. We are particularly pleased that the Eastern Cape Provincial Legislature is doing wonders in terms of its language unit. We are also pleased by the progress made by the Department of Education, and we're working in partnership with the department as they are identified as one of the institutions, as the only department in the country that would be responsible for institutionalizing mother tongue in its schools. As part of our Home of the Legends campaign, we will identify and celebrate a number of icons who have contributed to the development of the literature in this province, and these include the national poet Utatu S.E.K. Mkai, Umamunontsizi Mqwetho, Umamunoni Jabavu, Utatu J.R. Jolobe, Utatu P.T. Mtuze, nabanye abaninzi. In terms of the libraries, allow me once again, Honorable Deputy Speaker, to freestyle. I don't think in the entire country you have seen any province that has profiled the services that are provided in the libraries more than we have done in the province of the Eastern Cape. We are building libraries, and we are making sure that those libraries have computers and internet so that those who want our services are able to get those services at the click of the button. However, I am also pleased, Honorable Deputy Speaker, that we have just launched a recording studio for audiobooks. In actual fact, it was on Friday, Mdantsane. The audiobooks will be translated to the dominant language in the province, which is isiXhosa. They'll be narrated and recorded here in the province and distributed to the libraries across the country, as this is the first of its kind initiative in public libraries. Once again, we are the province of the firsts. Le yeminye yemizamo yethu yoqinisekisa ukuba abantu abaphila nokukhubazeka ingakumbi abangaboniyo baziva beyinxalenye yalo Mzantsi Afrika mtsha sithetha ngawo. In terms of the infrastructure and libraries, we have built the state-of-the-art library at Digeni. It is equipped with modern technologies. We will also be building a new library at Cook House. We will do major refurbishments at Jeffreys Bay kwakunye nase Fort Beaufort libraries. We will also start with the designs zakuqumbu kwi-library yaqumbu. Okwethu kukhuthaza iphondo elifundayo ngokwenza amathala ethu encwadi abe indawo yokuya xa befuna ufuna ulwazi. In records management, it is a known fact that our records are kept in the province of the Western Cape, and we have started a process of retrieving those records. All our records will be retrieved into the province of the Eastern Cape this current financial year, and we will continue to support governmental bodies as it is their constitutional mandate to have the records in place. We have a records management policy in place, and before the end of this financial year, as I have indicated, we will be retrieving our documents. In the last 2 minutes, in terms of sports and recreation, as a response to the pandemic, we modified our plans to prioritize the provision of sporting equipment and apparel, and this we are doing to ensure that clubs are better resourced and prepared for when the sport activities resume. We have also identified that school sport is integral in terms of ensuring that we continuously generate players, excellent players that contribute towards transformation across the country and across the sporting fields. And therefore, school sport is very important to us. We are working in partnership with the Department of Education. 240 schools across the province we are targeted to be assisted in this financial year. And I am also pleased to indicate that we have struck a partnership with SuperSport, a TV, not a club, SuperSport, to televise our school sport in the province. And once again, that would be the first initiative in the entire country. We are about to sign a service level agreement with La Liga. La Liga is an international, it's a Spain football league. It will be helping us in terms of infrastructure as well as development of coaches and player exchanges. We will also be assisting in terms of ensuring that we fund football, rugby, cricket, netball. In essence, we are not moving away from our commitment to reach the mass participation sporting code, but also to look into those sporting codes that were identified as white sporting codes. Ayisiphathi kahle ke sekela somlomo into yokudlala kwePhondo Bizana Phondo Chiefs eKZN, and we are making all our means to ensure that kulo nyaka uzayo bayabuya kulo nyaka ngoMarch bayabuya.
You can table them.
Honorable Deputy Speaker, once again allow me to table to this House the annual performance plan of 2021-2022 operational plan, as well as of the department, as well as the NTT ECPAC. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Patiswa, there is another library right in this building. One day we must work together so that you can see in collaboration and partnership, especially from what you are saying. It's very much good. Thank you. Honourable members, the policy speech also stands referred to the portfolio committee responsible for the subject matter in terms of Rule 161, subsection 2. I will now ask the Secretary to read the fifth order of the day.
Tabling of vote number 15, safety and liaison.
Honourable MEC, Department of Safety and Liaison, to present 2021-2022 policy speech in terms of Rule 160, subsection 4. Over to you, Mpatis.
Honourable Deputy Speaker, Honourable Premier Members of the Executive, Honourable Members of the House, all our government senior officials, all peace-loving citizens of the Eastern Cape, good day to you. Honourable Deputy Speaker, the National Development Plan 2030 states that, I quote, safety should be measured by the extent of which the most vulnerable in society feel and are safe from all forms of crime and violence, as well as the conditions that breed them, close quote. In its 109 birthday statement, the governing party, recognizing that through the country communities are still confronted by high levels of crime and violence, and that the lack of safety threatens and undermines their sense of well-being and hampers social and economic development. It identifies violence against women and children as the second pandemic in our country and as the most blatant affront to the common humanity. The governing party has reiterated its historical mission to secure communities and guarantees the right of every South African woman, man and child. Collectively and individually, citizens must live in a safe environment free from crime and violence as prerequisite for inclusive economic and social development. Accordingly, we affirm that we shall strive together, sparing neither strength nor courage, until the communities we all live in are and feel safe. Today, we stand here collectively, presenting the policy directive of the Department of Safety and Liaison. Cognizant and mindful of the first year of the 6th Democratic Administration to firm up the primary foundation upon which to build a safer Eastern Cape. Honourable Deputy Speaker, during the presentation of our policy priorities last year, We assured the House and the people of the Eastern Cape that, notwithstanding the advent of the coronavirus on our shores, we shall advance our offensive against crime and violence. Today, we shall derive our strategic direction moving that background. Both the state of the nation and the state of the province addresses confirms that crime and violence undermines people's sense of safety and security as well as social cohesion. Despite the good work done in battle against crime and violence as suggested by 2020-2021 third quarter statistics, murder, stock theft, and gender-based violence continue to plague our province and erode social cohesion and safe communities. Honorable Deputy Speaker, the dangerous network of criminals has grown in sophistication. These include robbery and murder of women and elderly and youth, livestock, armed robbery, particularly the forceful and gruesome treatment of women livestock owners, is a new and growing rural scourge. Violent conduct crimes that result in the loss of life of many other forms of abuse of the most vulnerable persist. Mob justice and murdering of South African police services is on the rise in our communities. Honorable members, last year we said we need a radical review and overhaul of our current approaches in dealing with scourge of crime and violence. As we take stock of the new normal and the huge challenges confronting us, we must consolidate our organizational resource and strategic capacities. We must move with determination to reset our agenda from community policing to community safety. Underpinning our resetting agenda is the commitment to developing a coalition with a broad partnership from public and private sectors, NGOs, CPOs, and the higher educational institutions embedded in local communities and driven by common democratic values and the observation of human rights. Without any shadow of doubt, we are convinced that human security is a solid building block for any successful and truly democratic, non-racial, non-sexist, and prosperous society. Accordingly, cooperation with community police fora, collaboration of all state institutions, creating of community-based platforms through community safety fora, advocating and mobilization of active public and community-based participation have to be priority as we advance our fight against crime and violence. Honorable Deputy Speaker, to realize purposeful and effective collaboration, cooperation and integration of all efforts in the battle against crime and violence. This year we shall graduate the establishment Provincial Justice, Crime Prevention and Security Cluster into a strategic and program-driven platform. This platform shall find practical expression of the coalface of service delivery at the district level. As part of collective approach to our work, we have clearly elaborated our role in the district development model across all the 8 districts of our province. Our district managers have been assigned the responsibility to ensure that all work done through the DDM model has community safety as a transversal and critical element. The head of department is opening up new visitors' opportunity and collaboration by driving a strategic dialogue with the Department of Corporate Governance and Traditional Affairs. This will strengthen the local government's role in mobilizing communities against crime and violence, something we have not been able to get right in the past. In the end, every municipality must embrace community safety forums as the critical platform for driving a local level safety agenda. Honorable Deputy Speaker, we have actively participated in the development of new national 6-pillared integrated crime and violence prevention strategy. We must urgently subject it to diagnostic process in order to ensure that it addresses the complex set of safety challenges of the Eastern Cape. Among others, this must include a renewed focus on developing effective programs in the rural areas where there is concerning rising environment and gender-based violence crimes. Our provincial safety strategy, due for review this year, must be a reflection this diagnostic and evidence-based approach. Our reviewed provincial safety strategy must include a provincial perspective based on real assessment of our material conditions. Through our strengthening oversight function over the police service in the province, we must guarantee the citizens a professional, reliable, accountable, and effective police services. Honorable Deputy Speaker, this year we'll be rolling out our automated monitoring tool. These tools are designed such that we conduct our oversight function in a specific, measurable, attainable, and time-bound criteria. As the implementation of these tools realize efficiencies in the department, this will allow us to expand the oversight agenda even further and safeguard the department against the current austerity challenges associated with the COVID-19 crisis. Honorable members, in ever-changing socio-economic environment, we need a constant source of new evidence to drive our decision-making. Accordingly, we plan to increase our internal research and analysis capacity by sustaining and taking advantage of the recently contracted graduates and postgraduates as interns for the research unit. The Departmental Research and Policy Unit has recently conducted a 2-day training session on knowledge management. We are certain that a knowledge-based and driven organization is the best mechanism through which to drive the battle against crime and violence. To this end, and as we begin the 2021-2022 financial year, we shall ensure that our decisions and actions are informed by the research implementation plan. Honorable members, crime statistics as well as the recorded incidents of gender-based violence and femicide, such as the recent brutal murder of 3 elderly women and 1 elderly man in Lady Frey, directs us to do more in cleaning our communities of criminals. In early March in Pedi area, 2 girls aged 12 and 15 were taken from their home and later found in the bush brutally murdered. Whilst the Singopo family was attending to this evil and barbaric incident, another similar murder was recorded at Ndwanyana in the same municipal area. Through the court watching brief program that will be rolled out to all districts, we shall continue to coordinate collaborative efforts within the JCPS cluster and ensure that cases of gender-based violence and femicide are thoroughly investigated, prosecuted, and that the perpetrators face the full might of the law. The pilot of this program has confirmed the need to expand it and further create a hotline system and mechanism for victims of gender-based violence to report directly to the authorities. We will continue participating in the implementation of the Safer City programs. To this end, we shall endeavor, working with all partners, ensure that any backlogs are resolved. Our rural safety intervention will be consolidated with the deployment of another police community service center at the Amampondomise Kingdom. Consultation with the relevant stakeholders are at an advanced stage. During the 2021-2022 financial year, we'll intensify our school safety program by deploying 54 safety patrollers to 27 schools across the province. Domestic violence continues to characterize our communities. We shall continue with our program of monitoring the South African Police Services with the DVA Act. We are also encouraging citizens to be vigilant and report all domestic violence acts. Neighbors must be on the lookout for these criminal actions and report them to the police immediately. Honorable Deputy Speaker, our direct community engagement session shall be conducted where possible, physically, and where impossible due to COVID-19, we shall make use of alternative platforms such as community radio stations. In order to focus the department on the regular engagement with communities, we have adopted an additional outcome, taking increased social cohesion and safer communities. We firmly believe that through community-driven efforts, the creation of safe communities is possible and will result in greater levels of social cohesion. Honorable members, for these commitments to be realized, we certainly need to reposition our department such that it is responsive to the current demands and challenges. The advent of COVID-19 has introduced us to new ways of doing our work. The department has introduced another target in its APP, where consistent and regular monitoring and reporting on the effects of this pandemic on the employees. We are committed in making sure that the quality of our staff working life is consistently improved. A culture of teamwork, high level of quality performance, and paying attention to the work and hard will drive our implementation of the APP. We will be reviewing, whilst implementing our communication plan, regular update of our website, creation and subsistence of social media platforms are some of the key focus areas of our communication unit. We have already begun with aggressive engagement with the people on the ground through community radio stations, where participation is extended to our district managers. We want to place to the department at the disposal of the people as a partner in the battle against crime and violence. Through our information communication technology unit, the department will improve the organization's ITC efficiently. Our commitment to local economic development will see the department sustaining the payment of creditors within 30 days of receipt of invoices. We shall set aside not less than 17% of our little goods and services budget for services to be delivered by the designated group. Buying local remains our commitment. Focus on the designated group is our priority. To this end, our special programs unit will jealously ensure that a minimum of 10 departmental and partnership programs are deliberately targeting the youth, women, and elderly people with disabilities, including challenges. Honorable Deputy Speaker, as we have always done, we shall not deviate from delivering on the commitments we make in this House. These include submission of all the reports required by the legislature. Honorable members, notwithstanding the fact that we are at the bottom end in terms of budget, we are doing the best we can with the little we have. However, we strongly believe that the departmental baseline needs to be relooked so that the figures can be responsive to amount of work to be done. The Department of Safety and Liaison will start the 2021-2022 financial year with a significant reduced budget with a total allocation of 105 million. The allocation is broken down as follows. For compensation of employees is 78.2 million. Goods and services, 23.4 million. And capital budget is 3.3 million. The budget has since been cut by 13.3 million to 105 million. Honorable Deputy Speaker, as per the rules of the Eastern Cape Provincial Legislature and on behalf of the Department of Safety and Liaison, I table the 2021 budget policy speech, the 2021-22 annual performance plan, the 2021 annual operational plan, and the 2021-24 service delivery improvement plan for vote 15. I thank you.
Nkosi kakhulu Mphathiswa. The policy speech and all other table documents stands